To be honest with you, Hounds of Heaven, I think this video that I'm about to show you from Father Mark Goring is disgraceful, harmful, and tragic. And so I watched this video by Father Mark Goring about Pope Francis' document and Fernandez' document called Fiducia Supplicans, which, I can't stand Latin. And the Latin always feels a little bit pretentious to me. It does. I get it. It's the language of the church, but it feels a little bit pretentious to me. It's like when Dr. Peter Kwasniewski, he always likes to use Latin when he, his talks and things like that. It feels a little pretentious. I mean, because let's be honest. What is this document? Fiducia Supplicans. You ask anybody on the street right now, no one's calling it that. They're calling it, they're calling it the gay document. It's the gay document. That's Fiducia Supplicans. In English, it's called the gay document. All right, that's what it is. So, Father Mark Goring made this video about the gay document, the Skittle document in Schism. And it came across my YouTube feed, and I said, what the hell is this? What is this? I don't like Father Mark Goring. I never did. Right? And there's a couple of priests like that I just don't like personally. Of course, we pray for them. Of course, when they're in persona Christi, they are configured to Christ, so we love them, right? But there's just some people in life that you just know if you met them personally or privately that I'm not gonna. There's no combat. We're not gonna have a beer. I just don't like you, right? And I know that kind of like my story with Eric Sammons. Remember that story when I met him at a conference? And it's kind of confirmed when I shook his hand, and it felt like baby's blood. I don't like men with soft hands. But Father Chris Allar is like another one of those guys who I just don't like. I stopped liking him. He made this video about Freemasonry and why it was just the dumbest video, the most harmful, the most errant video on Freemasonry I had ever seen. Right. So I'm trying to be charitable. I go to the video and I make some comments, say, hey, this is where the video is wrong, and so he decides to go back and forth with me about this, right? And disagree with me about this, a subject matter that, I'm an expert on. I was an expert on it when I was a Freemason, and I'm still expert on it from a Catholic perspective. So I was like, okay, this guy he's not being docile. Right? I get it. He's a priest. He's supposed to know everything. Humility doesn't seem to be in his trick bag. So I go make a video about all his errors, and it's still up on YouTube. You can find it. But I go point by point. Everywhere this video is just completely dumb. He would have been better off just going to Wikipedia and just reading that. So I go back to the video and I post the link to my video on his video. What does he do? He deletes the whole comment. Okay, I say, I'm done with this guy. Done with this guy. He's too prideful. He's in it for the clicks. Done. Don't respect him as a priest or a man. It's kind of like, there's these things in life that just turn you off for good, and you can never go back. Kind of like Slim Jims for me. When I was a kid, I was probably by 11. Got done my paper route. After my paper route, I usually go and get a bag of Now Laters, pack of Now Laters, or a Slim Jim from the 7-Eleven that was at the end of my paper route. One time I got the Slim Jim, and I ate it, and I vomited like on the spot. Done with Slim Jims ever since then. Can't eat them. Same with a Big Mac back in the States. Ate a Big Mac one time. I love Big Macs from McDonald's. But this one, the meat tasted like it was freezer burned. It had freezer burn. It was freezer burned meat. It had that taste. Done. I never ate a Big Mac again until I came to Germany. McDonald's over here in I guess probably all of Europe, it hits a little bit better. McDonald's is amazing over here. But Father Mark Goring had to be about 10 years ago. And I think he's sort of a new priest, or at least new getting on social media. He made this video about how he was celebrating Ramadan. the Muslims, Ramadan, every year I think it's 40 days where they fast and things like that. And he said, hey, I'm not going to do the Muslim prayers, but I'm going to get in solidarity with my Muslim brothers, and I'm going to do the Ramadan. So we had this series of videos where he's celebrating Ramadan. He's fasting, and after, I guess, 6 o'clock, whatever, when the sun goes down, he didn't do Muslim prayers, but he did Christian prayers. He did this whole thing where, as a Catholic priest, as a man, as a Catholic, he was celebrating Ramadan, demonic. And so this is back when I had my old blog. I got some exposure. I think it got linked to Big Pulpit. Tito had linked it over there. So the blog post blew up and everything. So he put the video in private, and it's still in private to this day. He hasn't deleted it. It's still in private, right? And so I could click on the link now, and it says, oh, this video is private. He never made a video like saying, oh, I apologize about this, I had a different change of mind, nothing. He just put it on private. I was done. First, just not to have that level of discernment, not to celebrate Ramadan in any level, I probably would have been done with him just because of that, right? But people make mistakes, whatever. But not to come out with a retraction video saying, hey, this was dumb, I shouldn't have done it. I've been done with Father Mark Goring for over 10 years. In this video, really just shows me Father Mark Goring hasn't grown as a priest or as a person. Check out what he says about the gay document.
Now, fiducia supplicans, when I read this, one of my thoughts was, this is a masterpiece.
Masterpiece? I don't think anyone but Jesuit James Martin, the Skittle, he's called this document a masterpiece.
This is a masterpiece.
A masterpiece?
This is a masterpiece.
How does it happen? A masterpiece? A masterpiece? The gay document? There's two people who has called this gay document a masterpiece. Maybe three. All right. One, Father Mark Goring, obviously. Second, James Martin, the Jesuit Skittle. And three, Satan. Let's be honest about this.
This is a masterpiece.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. This is something you probably never heard before unless you really pay attention to me. Because I've said this before. There's no such thing as schism in the Catholic context. I know if you've heard of it. You probably heard it in school. There's some sort of schism.
The church is in what seems to be an impossible situation. Everyone knows that the church is on the verge of a likely schism.
Schism is another one of those words, kind of like fiducia supplicans. It sounds, makes it sound more impressive than what it is. It's the gay document. Schism. Is it? It sounds a little bit gay, doesn't it? Schism. It's just a little schism that we're talking about. There's three types of people in this world. There's Catholics, there's non-Catholics, and there's heretics. All right. Where does schism, which one is it? Is it Catholic? No, because you can't be Catholic. Catholic means one. So something that is one, that is universal, that is whole, cannot also be in schism. This is a contradiction of terms. So there's only Catholic. Catholic can never be in schism. Right? There's non-Catholics. These are people who may not have ever been baptized, just no relationship with the Catholic Church at all, no awareness. They haven't made a choice, right? And then three, there's the heretics. Okay, now if you are a Catholic, you reject what the Catholic Church teaches. That doesn't make you a schismatic. That makes you a heretic. Let's call things what they are. Schism just sounds really sexy and innocuous. No, it's heretics. Okay, and schism is not even a term that belongs to Catholic theology. There's no theology of schism, so to speak. So again, to be Catholic is to be one, is to be whole, is to be universal, is to be like God, who is one whole. God is Catholic in a sense. So schism is antithetical to God. And therefore, there's no such thing in the Catholic Church of being able to say, well, there was a schism in the Catholic Church. Again, these are contradiction of terms. It's gravely disappointing that Father Mark Goring has went the route of saying that it would be more expedient if this gay document would be received well in the Catholic Church because it can prevent what he calls a schism.
But the thing is if you love the church enough to not want to see her split once again, if you don't want to see another major, heartbreaking, tragic schism in the church, could you at least consider to humble yourself, read the document again carefully, and ask yourself, could you accept this so that the church might have a possibility of staying together?
And not only I would say is that gravely is gravely disappointing, but it feels demonic to say such a thing, that it would be better for a lie to have life within the church than for the heretics to leave the church, right? Fine. Oh, what in the hell do we care about heretics leaving the Catholic Church? What concern is that of ours? We would rather have a church with 5 people in it than have a church that's united based upon a lie. That makes no sense to me. I don't know why these words would even come out of his mouth. It sounds like one of the reasons why we think the Jews pushed for Jesus to be killed by the Romans, that it was better for him that he dies than for him to live and have all these followers run after him, right? So this is the same. Oh, it's more expedient. This will let's keep the Jewish community together and let's just get rid of Jesus. Let's have Barabbas instead of Jesus. This just be more expedient. This would be better. At what price do we seek unity? What is the price? Is the price a lie? Is the price demonic activity? What is the price that Father Mark Goring is willing to pay for fake unity? It's not even real unity, it's fake, which means it's doomed to fail. Okay.
This is a masterpiece.
I'm really curious how all the Pope splainers now feel about this gay document. Right now, all the Pope splainers, the Trent Horns, the Michael Lofton types, these people, all the Catholic answer guys came out defending the gay document. And without waiting for it, the bishops then spoke around the world and said no. Right? So how do the Pope splainers feel now that there's no sense of the faithful concerning this? In fact, there seems to be a growing sense of the faithful, that the real faithful, that this gay document is demonic. So there is words that people speak and there's documents that they write, but we have to understand that there's always the praxis of the thing itself. So how are the words being practiced? What is the praxis of this document? Well, we've seen the praxis of this document immediately with the other Jesuits. The first thing to know about Jesuits that Jesuits are going to Jesuit, right? Gay people are going to do gay things, right? Over at St. Dominic's Media, I wrote this timeline about the timeline of Pope Francis becoming the first gay pope in the Catholic Church. Check out the timeline. Tell me what you think, because it's evident that Pope Francis is to the Catholic Church what Barack Obama was to the United States. Remember Obama, he's affectionately called the first gay president because it used to be gay lesbian pride month. Then he added the B, right? He got rid of the Defense of Marriage Act. He appointed all types of homosexuals to positions of prominence in the United States. He really advocated for the normalization of homosexuality in the United States. Pope Francis has done the same thing. His promotion of homosexuals, his advocacy, his meeting with these people, the normalization of it, this new gay document. Okay. Everything that Pope Francis has done to normalize homosexuality within the Catholic Church makes him the first gay pope, in the same way that we say Barack Obama was the first gay president. So it's the praxis of the thing itself. You have a document, or you release a statement. How is it being lived out? How is it being practiced? How is it being worked? What type of life does this document lead to? Well, we saw that very early on, right? With James Martin, he comes out with the picture of him blessing people, and gay blessings, to be sure. Hope this doesn't blow your mind, but gay blessings have been going on in the Catholic Church for decades. So, only thing that this gay document does from Pope Francis is really just it blesses, which is a weird word to say, it blesses what has already been going on from San Francisco to New York to Atlanta to DC to Paris to Berlin to Frankfurt to England, all around the world, where all these gay blessings have been going on for decades. It says, fine, keep doing what you're doing. Here are some more defined parameters. But really, so what this document is more than anything, it's what's called a license. It's giving license to evil in the Catholic Church. And the saddest thing about it is that it's just making a mockery of the faith. Just to hear some of these videos of Protestants, or how some of the things they're saying about the Catholic Church, it makes it sound, it vindicates them. It vindicates the so-called Reformation, that they were right about the Catholic Church all along. So it is this, the gay document is disgusting, it's a shame, it's demonic, and it needs to be it's magisterial, to be sure. I mean, just on a technical basis, it is a magisterial document. So it is the teaching of the church, but it is not a document that it's not an infallible document. So because it is not a solemn document, it means that it can have room for error. Okay, but the error is supposed to not be to such a degree that we believe that it can harm the faithful. Okay, so so we say that yes, this is a magisterial document, but it does contain error. Okay, but in the souls that it does mislead, we trust them to the mercy of God. That they were not misled by their own, but they were misled by the church, Christ's church, by the people that he has allowed to be in these positions of teaching authority. And that it was because they led them in that position, they shepherded them into hell, that we trust them to the mercy of God, that God will not condemn them because they were misled by the people that he allowed to govern his church. So those are my thoughts, just to be honest with you, about Father Mark Goring and his disgusting thoughts about this. We should accept this because it'd be expedient to accept it. That's disgusting. And my thoughts on the whole scandal itself. And I like the way that it's heading, with more and more bishops speaking out, especially Archbishop Chaput wrote a wonderful document. All the bishops in various African countries speaking out, and so on and so forth. I like the way this is headed. And I think the line has been drawn in the sand. And I think we should look forward for more to come about this, about Pope Francis losing in the Dicastery Doctrine of Faith, really losing some ground here. Because the fact of the matter, Pope Francis cannot get rid of all these people, all these bishops who are drawing the line in the sand. He can't get rid of all of them like he's gotten rid of Strickland and all the others. There's just too many. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does do. Whether he's just going to dig his foot in the sand and say, oh, these people are being rigid, or whether it's going to be so many that he's going to have to come out with another statement from the cashier doctrine of faith. That's not likely. He's not a humble person. He's not docile at all. So it's going to be interesting. And we should stay tuned to see what the Holy Spirit does. But this has been David L. Gray, just being honest with you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember that Jesus loves you and is there for you. So let the liturgy live in you.
This is a masterpiece.